evening, everyone, and welcome to Newport News Speaks, a virtual chat on the budget. I'm Brent Martin, Deputy Director of Communications for the City of Newport News, and I'm honored to serve as your moderator tonight. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're at home, at work, or on the move, as we bring the budget conversation directly to you. Tonight is all about sharing the city's proposed budget priorities for the upcoming fiscal year and hearing your real-time input. We're joined by a panel of city leaders who will help guide this discussion. First, let me introduce Mayor Philip Jones, City Manager Alan Archer, Director of Budget and Evaluation Lisa Cipriano, and Assistant Director Corey Cloud. We also extend a warm welcome to our City Council members who may be joining us tonight, and we thank you for your service and engagement. Before we begin, just a quick note on our how we will flow tonight. All participants will remain muted throughout the event to minimize background noise and interruptions. However, your voice is still very much a part of this conversation, and you can engage two key ways. Use the Q&A function in Zoom to submit your questions to our panel, and participate in our interactive polling, which will pop up throughout tonight's event. If we don't get to your question tonight, stay connected. We'll continue the conversation online through video and on our social platforms and in email. So at this point, let's dive into the choices that shape our community and how we move forward together. To kick things off, let's hear from Mayor Philip Jones.
Thank you, Brent. And first of all, I just want to say thank you so much to our city staff, communications, finance, and IT for putting this on. I know this, I think, is one in the history books for Newport News. So not only do we have our two public hearings, but we wanted to give an option to people that are unable to participate. So hopefully you're able to have constructive dialogue and ask some really interesting questions about how we can all shape the budget together. Appreciate the opportunity. I will be camera off, but listening in. Thanks so much, Brent.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. And now we will hear remarks from City Manager Alan Archer.
Thank you, Brent. Good evening. I'm excited to engage our citizens in a virtual talk on budget priorities and welcome your input on council's strategic priorities and citizen services in the FY26 City Manager's recommended budget. As we navigate the budget process, citizen engagement, transparency, and collaboration are more important than ever. One of the cornerstones of the budget process this year was focused on expanding citizen engagement. Today's virtual talk is another opportunity to continue this process. So please join us in this virtual talk on budget priorities. Feel free to share your insights and engage in meaningful dialogue about the FY26 budget before City Council's approval on Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. And I will add just a bit of ad lib here. We are building out a process around civic engagement that is new to the city. It's new to the community. You are participating in the ground floor of this process. And this activity this evening is a learning one for all of us. And we're, again, creating and building the memory in the organization to be able to do this again next year and to learn from the dialogue today and build it out even further in the next operating budget cycle. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we will take a quick moment to review the budget overview video.
Hey everyone, I'm Mayor Philip Jones. Newport News is a city built on breakthroughs, where innovation meets community, and every dollar that we invest helps to shape our future. But how do we decide where to invest? It starts with you, our residents, employees, and businesses.
It's like Mayor Jones said, the budget process isn't just about numbers, it's about people. This year, we've made it easier and more engaging than ever for you to be a part of the conversation. Over 1,000 residents responded to our budget pulse survey, ensuring that all our residents have an opportunity to have a voice in the FY 2026 budget process. We're also excited to roll out Balancing Act, an easy-to-understand, interactive educational tool that will give residents insight into the tough decisions necessary to balance the budget when considering priorities versus financial constraints.
We believe that when Newport News speaks, that leaders should listen, and transparency is at the heart of this year's budget process. From the survey to the upcoming public hearings and our virtual town hall, we want everyone to have a seat at the table.
And this is just the beginning. We're not just planning for today, We're building for tomorrow. A budget is about priorities, values, and making sure every decision leads to a stronger Newport News. So let's dive into how we're ensuring that our budget truly reflects what matters most to you. In uncertain times such as these, we focus on what matters most. That's why we're using priority-based budgeting, which is a smart, strategic approach that ensures every dollar is spent wisely to serve you. We're getting back to the basics, funding the services and programs that make Newport News a great place to live, work, and play. That means being efficient, planning ahead, and making decisions that benefit everyone in our entire community. This approach helps us navigate changes in federal funding while keeping our city strong and thriving. How do we ensure that strength translates into real impact? Well, it starts with setting clear priorities, investing in what truly matters to you. That's why our next step is all about focusing on the core areas that define a thriving, resilient Newport News. So what are we prioritizing this year? Our strategic focus remains on 5 essential core areas of service. First, public safety. Keeping Newport News safe is our top priority. That means investing in our police, fire, and emergency services. It's about ensuring rapid response times and adequate service. So we are expanding police and fire personnel to increase capacity by adding 8 police officers and 12 firefighters. In addition, it's about equipping first responders with the best tools and continuing to foster relationships between law enforcement and the community to create a safer, stronger city. Second, schools. Our future depends on our children, and we are committed to supporting our schools with the resources they need to succeed. By fully funding the school board's recommended salary adjustments and continuing to strengthen our partnership through capital support and training programs, we're ensuring that students and teachers have the resources and support they need for a more prepared generation of young people. Third, essential services. From roads to water systems to trash collection, we're making sure the everyday necessities run smoothly for you. That means continuing to invest in the fundamental services and resources that keep our city strong, maintaining clean and vibrant public spaces, and keeping our city running efficiently. Fourth, housing. A strong community starts with a stable home. That's why we're fully funding the Neighborhood Service Division and the Office of Sustainability to implement our strategic housing plan. By investing in new housing solutions, revitalizing neighborhoods, and ensuring sustainable growth, we're creating opportunities for families, stabilizing communities, and driving economic growth. And finally, effective and efficient government. That means making city services work better and faster, cutting waste and focusing on real results. We're streamlining processes and ensuring your tax dollars are spent wisely to improve the quality of life for everyone in Newport News. But effective government is also about investing in our employees, making Newport News not just competitive with other municipalities, but setting the standard for employee compensation and benefits on the Virginia Peninsula. Because when we invest in our workforce, we invest in the quality of services that define our city.
And don't miss our One City, One Vision virtual town hall on April 17th. Let's shape the future of Newport News together.
Be a part of the process, be a part of the progress, because when we invest together, we grow together.
Maybe we can just take a moment to talk a little bit about the drive behind the engagement piece and why you felt it was important, Alan, from your seat, to be more engaging throughout this budget process this year.
First of all, the City Council asked for a budget development process that really took into consideration citizen engagement prior to the city manager delivering the proposed annual operating budget to City Council. And so this required a new level of thinking about how we wanted to engage the community. And so in order to accomplish this, the city administration utilized a pulse survey, which we will discuss even more in the video, which reached approximately 1,000 citizens. And we developed an online tool called Balancing Act, which allows citizens the opportunity to interface and better understand the requirements to balance the budget and budget priorities. And so these were a few of the techniques that we've introduced for the very first time. And as we continue to develop our current budgeting philosophy around priority-based budgeting, we will have more opportunities to do so in the future. So we'll look forward to a growing number of these kinds of opportunities as we develop the budget for next year.
And Mayor Jones, are you still here with us? I know you remain out on the road and on the go.
Brent,
How
I'm always
does
here.
How does this process really fit maybe into what you're hearing from constituents and the residents of Newport News about being engaged and being more of a voice and a part of the processes?
Thank you, Brent. One of the items that individuals often share with me is that the geography of the city makes it hard for someone in the north to get down to the South District, or sometimes they're coming home from work and they're really not able to fully engage. And so we started a process about 2 years ago where we now started to televise work sessions as a way just to have more people engage in the process. So that was one step. I think this is another step, just like City Manager Archer said. Just, some people are not able to make it to our 2 budget hearings, and we want to make sure that everyone's voice is heard. As mayor, I would say we're not always going to agree on the same things, but we want to make sure that everyone has a voice in shaping this budget. It's not my city, it's not your city, it's our city. And so all of us coming together. So looking forward to looking at some of the questions and being able to provide some more guidance and deep diving into the budget. Thank you, Brent.
What we've been talking about is citizen engagement. And I think before we dive even deeper into the priorities and the numbers, that you typically get into when we talk budget, I'd love to get a sense of how you as citizens have been engaging with the budget process so far. So let's launch polling question 1, and let's see how you, the community, have been connecting with this year's budget engagement efforts. So with regards to participation, have you participated in any of the public engagement opportunities regarding the upcoming fiscal year 2026 budget process? And I mean, we've had a number of things. We did, like I mentioned, the pulse survey. We've also had the public hearing. And then now we are also taking part in a virtual chat. Just let us know if you've been a part of the process prior to this moment. Okay, about 55% of you that are online have been a part of this process before today, and we appreciate your engagement, and we hope that you will continue to be a part of the conversation and spread the word in future opportunities. And now at this point, I am pleased to welcome 2 key voices from our Budget and Evaluation Department, Budget Director Lisa Cipriano and Assistant Director Corey Cloud, who will guide us through the community input and how it's shaping our path forward. Corey?
All right. Thank you, Brent. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here with you all this evening. I'm going to give a brief overview of the survey results that help shape the recommended budget. So we can go to the next slide. The city received just over 1,000 survey responses, with average response deeming most city services as being important, and 53% responding that these services are at least meeting expectations. Not to exclude other satisfaction levels, average response showed 39% ranked city services as needs improvement. That combined with the overall satisfaction rate, the survey shows most services and programs have value to our citizens, but we still have room for improvement. As a reminder, a full report on the survey results can be found on the city's website. And as we move to the next slide, just a little bit of the philosophy behind the survey is, as we took in this information, the city was able to create a relationship between importance and satisfaction of each service and calculate what is called an importance to satisfaction rating. This allowed us to isolate services which show low satisfaction but high level of importance. We know not all issues can be addressed, so we have highlighted the top 5 priorities based on this importance to satisfaction rating. Next slide will show you the top 5 priorities. Those are eliminating blight, affordable housing, business retention, traffic congestion, and education. And as we move on to the next slide, you'll see an illustration of how those levels of importance and satisfactions for those services appear. So in the blue bars, you have your levels of satisfaction, and in your yellow bars, you have your level of importance. So looking at this, you'll see that the lowest satisfaction came with eliminating blighted and vacant buildings, followed by affordability of housing, attracting and retaining businesses, the flow of traffic throughout the city, and education and access to all for learning. Now that you've seen the top 5 survey priorities, we're going to move to polling question number 2. Please let us know if these priorities reflect your thoughts and align with what we saw in the survey. So if you don't mind, take a few seconds just to respond to that particular polling question. Thank you.
As we're giving a few moments for our guests to respond to this survey question, Lisa, I would love to ask you, how did you use these top 5 priorities to guide the development of the budget?
This information was very critical for us, especially in the low satisfaction areas, to identify what are we doing now, how can we do it better, and what in our departmental and portfolios requests would actually boost or enhance these concerns throughout the city. So it was very important to have these answers early, to see the citizens' personal feelings about their neighborhoods, how the city looks, how the city flows, so we could develop early on into the budget process methods and ways of addressing these issues.
Perfect, thank you. And thank you for taking the time to weigh in on that survey.
As we move on to the next slide, we don't only want to focus on areas of improvement, but we also want to highlight areas in which the city is performing well. Here's 5 services which citizens rated important and with high satisfaction. So again, the blue bars show the level of satisfaction, and the yellow bars show the level of importance. The service, fire and emergency services, showed as the highest rated satisfaction amongst the citizens. So some key takeaways as we move on to the next slide, some key takeaways from what we've seen through the survey is that the city is performing well in the majority of our essential services, such as fire and police services, trash collection, and also the proximity in which people live with parks and libraries, as well as our community centers. Many good things are happening now to even enhance those services to continue high satisfaction amongst the community, even in the areas identified as top priorities to improve, have ongoing and dedicated resources, and each day we are striving to enhance outcomes related to citizen satisfaction. These are long-term commitments, and the recommended budget continues investment towards these efforts. And with that being said, I will turn the presentation over to Ms. Lissy Cipriano, the Director of Budgeting and Evaluation, to discuss budget priorities and enhancements. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Corey, and good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. While building the FY26 recommended budget included the valuable input from the citizen survey, we've also based the annual budget on the city's strategic priorities of people, places, and government. In many ways, the survey results parallel our strategic priorities and gave us an opportunity to expand and merge those priorities in the upcoming budget. Next slide, please. As a background, the fundamental practice of the city that we adhere to in developing the annual budget is that we estimate revenues first and live within those revenues that are anticipated to be generated in the upcoming fiscal year. With that in mind, there were keystone elements that we incorporated in the budget development process. First, was that there would be no tax or user fee increases for the upcoming year. The real estate tax rate will remain the same, as well as the charges for water, sewer, stormwater, and solid waste collections. Second, we wanted to continue to invest in our schools. And third, we wanted to enhance our public safety services throughout the community. Next slide, please. With those keystone components in mind, we had other major considerations building this budget. First, we wanted to invest in the city's strategic priority and incorporate the results of the survey. We wanted to continue to invest in our most valuable asset, our city employees, by providing competitive salaries and benefits. To accomplish our goals and live within the estimated revenues, we work to realign existing resources with positions and initiatives to reallocate those existing dollars to programs of a higher concern. We always pay our annual debt in full and make 100% contributions to our pension funds. These are cornerstone pillars in building the budget each year. We also had to recognize the continuing impact of inflation and work to lessen the impact of cost wherever possible. And where we make an investment in programs and services, that investment is sustainable and resilient. Next slide, please. So we are going to move quickly on to polling question number 3. Now that you've seen the priorities and consideration in developing the recommended budget, we're going to ask you your opinion on whether these were appropriately developed for the FY26 budget.
Thank you, Lisa. And I think this is a great opportunity to maybe ask a little bit about what do you feel the message, what message do you feel is sent to residents, especially around schools and public safety, when you're looking at how you took their responses from the survey and applied it to budget priorities? What message do you think that sends to those who are engaged in this process?
Hi, Brent. I'm happy to address that question.
Okay.
You know, I think that we have a balance that must be maintained. And for me, as a city manager and hopefully providing good direction to our city staff, a critical component of that direction is ensuring that the decisions that we make to align resources and bring forward programs align with our city council's strategic vision. And so we have an existing strategic plan. Ms. Cipriano has talked briefly about those major strategic focus areas, and we try very hard to ensure that our activities are aligned with the vision that the council has for this community. So we are working on the last year of our current strategic plan, which takes us from 2020 through 2025. And a little bit later, I'll talk more about what the next iteration of that plan may involve. So I think what we're seeing through the polling and what we're receiving through citizen engagement is that the pulse survey reinforces the city's strategic plan and the citizen expectations that are around prioritizing schools and public safety for our community. Those are consistent threads that I think for me the pulse survey reinforced for us. And so I think it puts us in a solid direction where city action and council's policies are to a large extent mirroring those expectations from the community.
And now I'll turn it back over to you, Lisa.
Thank you, Brent. Let's move on to begin to understand how we took the survey results and our strategic priorities and align them in the operating budget. Let's begin with a strategic priority of people. Next slide, please. Just to orientate you to what you'll be seeing on each of the following slides, in the upper left-hand corner, you will see a reference to current initiatives that outline city programs and activities that support this particular priority. I will focus on the enhancements section just below that for the changes that are in the recommended budget. In the middle of each slide is a graph showing the citizen survey satisfaction level for each one of these categories. The color coding in the survey responses are: yellow represents unaccepted, blue represents needs improvement, green represents meet expectations, and dark blue represents exceeds expectations. So for health, safety, and well-being, the FY26 enhancements are expanding by 12 firefighter medic positions in the fire department, expanding by a total of 12 positions in the police department, 8 officers and 4 ranking or supervisor officer positions, and deploying a mobile integrated health unit to underserved populations for health and mental services and other similar resources. Next slide, please. For education and access to learning for all ages, we will always focus on the education of our children. As such, the city will be increasing its contribution to schools to support the Newport News School Board's recommended salary adjustment for all employees. In addition, the city will be providing $32 million for the first phase of Warwick High School renovations. We also believe that learning for all ages is important. As such, we are recommending additional funds to the Brooks Crossing Innovation and Opportunity Center for educational support for residents earning certificates and in training. Next slide, please. For fun, entertainment, and culture, the city is known for some of its landmark and legacy special events. We want to remain fresh and engaging on broadening our special events, opportunities, and venues, while still maintaining the quality of our events. To achieve this, we will be adding 2 special event coordinator positions. And we will continue to look forward to growing and expanding citizen engagement programs like this, not only on the annual operating budget, but to many priorities and topics that are important to you. Next slide, please. With that, we will move on to polling question number 4. You've seen now the recommended enhancements associated with people, and we would like your opinion on those.
We're having some really, really good conversation here. And I think, Alan, is there anything, I know you have a special place in your heart personally about a lot of the conversation and action that takes place, especially around the education piece. Did you have any remarks just on this focus on people?
I think, thank you, Brent. I think this just, provides an opportunity for me to illustrate the focus in this particular area, which is people, and how our activities, in many cases, right, align with City Council's vision. And so we have had a very important objective in our strategic plan, which is that children enter school ready to learn and be successful in school. The city partnered with the Peak Childhood Center to open a new early childhood development center to serve 200 children ages 6 weeks through 4 years old. This recently completed project is important because statewide data shows that 44% of children start kindergarten unprepared in one or more critical areas. And so this is just a small but important slice of the pie that prepares young people for school and prepares them to pursue lifelong learning and career opportunities to position them for success in the future.
Thank you for that. And I see we do have a question in the chat from Tim McLean. And Mayor Jones, would you like to speak to the fees and tax rate?
No, thank you, Brent, and thank you, Tim, if you're listening for the question. I'm a homeowner in Newport News, and so my taxes increased as well. So what we say with the tax rate is that is the action that the city and city council by law is empowered to act upon. And so for the city of Newport News, we're currently at $1.18 for $100 of assessed value. If we were to increase taxes, that would get us $2 million more dollars. If we were to reduce taxes or that tax rate 1 cent to $1.17, that would basically we have to pay $2 million. The city council, your elected officials, do not control what your house is appraised at. That's a different department. All we control is the tax rate. And so for us in this year's budget, the priority was to ensure that we could take care of our public safety and make sure we could answer some of those questions in the survey, quality of life. But I will say, as mayor, we're going to take a hard look at the tax rate next year. So hopefully that answers your question, Tim.
And I will turn it back over to you, Director Cipriano.
Thank you, Brent. Next, we will be moving to the priorities associated with places. So concerns about blight and the city's appearance was one of the top priorities in the citizen survey. With that in mind, we took several courses of action to address this. First, one codes compliance inspector position will be added to assist with codes enforcement. Along these same lines, we will increase funding for grass cutting for vacant and abandoned lots throughout the city and enhance our landscaping efforts in the city right-of-way streets and on city properties. The city will fully fund the Office of Neighborhood Services to expand the city's outreach, networking throughout the city's neighborhoods. And finally, we will expand our blighted property demolition program. So next slide, please. Flow of traffic is a concern of everyone. So we will continue to improve our major thoroughfares throughout the city with over $23 million in planned maintenance for the next year. We are also planning for a faster method of inclement weather responses in the future. And we will invest almost $37 million in street and pedestrian improvement projects in the upcoming next capital plan. So next slide, please. So now that you've seen these enhancements associated with the priorities of places, we're going to move on to the polling question.
Okay, and as you can see with polling question 5, how satisfied are you with these recommended enhancements for the strategic and survey priority of places? And I'll turn this over again to you, City Manager Archer, for some remarks.
Thank you, Brent. I think what we're suggesting here, which is reinforced by a variety of mechanisms for feedback, is that creating a welcoming community with connected neighborhoods is important. This is a theme that is echoed in our strategic plan and one that you see as part of a couple of strategies in the recommended operating budget. So the addition, for example, of a codes compliance inspector for codes enforcement and additional funding for grass cutting to maintain vacant lots and funding for blighted property demolition, all enhance the look and feel of our neighborhoods. And our work to date really underscores the importance of supporting our neighborhoods and ensuring that the city has a housing stock which is maintained and helps to create that neighborhood sense of place.
So let's move to our final category, priorities associated with government. For quality government and innovation, these go hand in hand with each other. Success in these areas leads to an overall improved return on investment for the taxpayer. Leading in this category is increased investment in our employees through compensation and benefits. Separately, we will be expanding our AI footprint, leveraging technology to process information and to solve problems. This is targeted to our citizen experiences and facilitates our employees' work products. We will also be investing in improving our communications with citizens through enhanced branding and messaging, and that it will be done with 2 new positions. Next slide, please. We will fully fund the Office of Sustainability to build a foundation for long-term environmental stewardship through partnerships among employees, residents, and stakeholders. We also will be investing in the Raleigh Road drainage and Chelsea Place drainage projects in our upcoming CIP. So with that, I will turn it back over to Brent to continue with our polling.
Thank you, Lisa, and we will launch question number 6. How satisfied are you with the enhancements addressing the top 5 priorities from the survey? Eliminating blighted and vacant buildings, affordability of housing, attracting and retaining businesses, flow of traffic throughout the city, and education and access to learning for all ages. Are you very satisfied, somewhat satisfied, or not satisfied? And just to go back and have a slight additional conversation with that focus on government while our participants are taking the survey. City Manager Archer, do you have anything to add to that topic as well?
Yes, thank you, Brent. I think quality government and innovation is extremely important. Not only is it important to the city administration, but it is very important to our governing body as well. And so, this appears in a number of ways. One way that we have of maintaining quality government is related to just being in a financial position to maintain employee compensation, right? To recruit and retain, particularly public safety and non-sworn employees. These employees are essential for us to achieve many of these strategic goals that we have talked about this evening. And the city is constantly pitted and battling, particularly for public safety personnel. So our compensation strategy with regard to public safety personnel is to be the pay leader, right? Be the pay leader for these positions on the Virginia Peninsula. And so that is an ongoing exercise for us, because many of these folks are in high demand and they have, in many cases, the ability to pursue higher paying positions. So we want to attract them, number one, and we want to retain them. I think the other thing I would say about this is using new tools such as artificial intelligence, AI, as people like to refer to it, will increase productivity and efficiency with day-to-day applications, such as our website and many other strategic applications that our Office on Innovation is championing. And so for those who may not know, several years ago, the city invested in establishing an Office on Innovation, right, to spur creativity, to harness the transfer of technology happening around us, so that we can import that technology, use it for not only administrative processes, but also to look at new applications for that technology in the workplace. And so there are a series of iterations that are flowing from that office around performance management and productivity improvement. And that is one critical office that the city is using to enhance our focus on quality government.
Thank you. Okay, we can close question 6. And thank you to all of our participants for your feedback. And we'll move on to polling question number 7. Of the top 5 survey priorities that we just read through, please identify the one that you would want more resources dedicated to in addition to what you have seen here. So a lot of our conversation has been about engagement, and we learn from listening to the citizens, and we're able to take what they provide us and, of course, build stronger solutions for the city overall. If you could just talk a little bit about what your vision is for a more transparent and inclusive budget process in the future as we look into future years of building out the fiscal year budget.
So Brent, I think my vision is certainly, and the organization is aligned with City Council's desire to have, right, one, earlier and more frequent citizen engagement as the budget is being prepared. And we want to position ourselves to do that. We've done some heavy lifting by starting many of these practices this year. They will only grow for development of the budget next year, right? So we want to do this using a variety of methods. We want to be able to use technology, whether it's polling through a simple app, or whether it's in-person dialogue. So I think we want to meet people. The goal here is to meet people where they are using the best application that they feel comfortable with, whether that's technology or whether that's in person. And so I think in that regard, the administration has really tried to create that alignment in order to support council's desire, right, to not only have a professionally developed budget that is submitted by staff, but a budget that also, right, is very focused, intentionally focused on input from the citizenry. So they're looking for both of those components as we refine our budgeting practices going forward.
Mayor Jones, if you are able to just share what you may see as a way that council can help with this engagement process and to ensure greater participation in the future, how do we utilize the strong position you all have in your various districts and throughout the city to boost engagement?
Thanks, Brent. I would say there's 2 different, what I'll call, lines of action. Number 1 is an education campaign, and number 2 is just a matter of the calendar. So I think number 1, an education campaign is whether it's myself as the mayor or others in their role, whether it's school board or city council, it's going out and it's really educating citizens on all the different departments, and we can continue to push out, whether it's social media or letters, all of the good information has to be sort of pushed out to the citizens. The second thing, Alan touched on it briefly, but we are going to continue to keep backing up this process to ensure that individuals are able to make their voices heard, not only at the end, but also in more of the beginning. And so what I would encourage, I know we're wrapping up on time, but I would encourage everyone to continue to not only sign up for Newport News Now, which is our daily newsletter, but please, please, please take the survey. That is how your voice is heard. And I would love to see that sample size of 1,000 jump to 10 or 20,000 to really get a strong number of people interested in the budget. Thanks, Brent.
Thank you. And as we've seen tonight, making budget decisions involves a lot of balancing needs, resources, values. And to help with that, the city has several easy-to-use interactive tools, including one called Balancing Act, that give you the opportunity to dive deeper into and to even try your hand at balancing the city's budget yourself. And to walk us through these resources and how you can get started with them, I'll turn it back over to Lisa.
Thank you, Brent. We really hope that this conversation with you this evening has sparked your interest into the upcoming budget and the associated investments and enhancements that we are asking to be made. Specific details on the entire operating budget can be found at the link noted on this page. In addition, as Brent indicated, we strongly recommend you to spend some time on our website and use our 2 new exciting online tools. The first is the budget simulator that allows you to set revenue levels, tax levels, and associated expenditures in specific departments. The second is the taxpayer receipt tools. By entering your specific individual taxes, you will see the cost per services that your taxpayer dollars pay for across the city spectrum of services. So again, both of these tools are online. We get a report back on your budget submissions and on your taxpayer receipts. Constantly interested in hearing from you. If we move on to the next slide, please. So the next steps in the budget development process is that City Council will continue to discuss, review, and deliberate over funding for the upcoming fiscal year through the month of April. The City Council, the City Manager, and the Budget Department will continue to engage your questions and feedback through such tools as Balancing Act on the recommended budget. And then finally, in May, City Council will determine the final funding levels for the budget and adopt a balanced budget for the upcoming fiscal year.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. And if we can go ahead and bring up polling question 8. And now we're talking about future engagement. We want to know, will you participate in future public engagement opportunities regarding the budget process? Yes or no? And if you could take a moment to answer that. But while you do that, City Manager Archer, I would love to hear about some additional ways that citizens can begin to get engaged even beyond the budget process. We have launched our initiative, Newport News Speaks, Leaders Listen. And so I know there's some great opportunities coming up. Would you care to share those?
Absolutely. So people are probably ready to get on with their evening, but many folks in the organization and council know of my interest and my passion around strategic planning. Not only is an important tool for the administration and council, but for the community as well. So I want to piggyback on comments that were provided earlier by Mayor Jones to say that we have a brand new citywide community survey. So you heard him say he'd love to see those numbers increase. And so we are working with a company who specializes in a national citizen survey, will allow the city to benchmark against other communities. It will allow the city to also get further insight about the citizens' level of satisfaction with city services. And so this larger statistically valid survey will open May 6th to randomly selected households who will receive survey invitations by mail with the option to respond via paper or a personalized online link. So if you're one of those random households that receives a survey, I would plead with you to please take a few minutes to complete it and return it. Not only will it help with an early budget prioritization process for the next fiscal year annual operating budget, and when I say next, not the one starting July 1, but actually 2027, but it will begin to shape our external scan that will drive a new organic citizen engagement around a revised strategic plan that will carry us from 2025 through 2030. And I'm excited. We'll talk more in the ensuing months about what that process looks like and when we'll start. But it will be an opportunity for the entire community to participate. So that survey is extremely important. If you get it, I would encourage you to please complete it and return it. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to the participants for responding. And I am excited to see that A lot of you will be looking forward to additional engagement with shaping the future of Newport News. And if we could go into our last question, because what we really would love to know is the best way to communicate with you. So what is the best way for you to receive information from the City of Newport News on citizen engagement events like this, as well as other wonderful things that are taking place across the city? And at this time, I would love to give an opportunity to Mayor Jones for any closing remarks you may have as well.
Thanks, Brent, and thank you to everyone who at 6:30, 7 o'clock is still able to participate. But we would love, please, make your voice heard. Not only through your civic engagement and all your boards and commissions, but we are really trying to increase the amount of people that participate. So let us know the best way to reach you. I would love to see 10, 100, 200 people coming out to City Council and really making sure that we have an engaged electorate. So from myself and from all of City Council, thank you for being here tonight, and we look forward to hearing your feedback, whether it's in person, when you see me at the gym, or seeing me in City Hall. We are elected to serve you. So that's what we're going to do, is we'll continue to serve. Thanks, Brent.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. And at this time, I would definitely like to thank you all of the participants who were able to join us, and those who registered may not have been able to join us. We will definitely be sending this video out to you and for those of us who were able to join us on Facebook, thank you as well for your time. Thank you for joining us this evening for Newport News Speaks, a virtual chat on the budget. On behalf of our panelists, Mayor Jones, the City Manager, Alan Archer, Budget Director, Lisa Cipriano, and Assistant Director, Corey Cloud, our entire city team, we truly appreciate your time, your attention, and your willingness to engage in this important conversation. Tonight was about more than numbers. It was about priorities, people, and partnership, and your input helps guide what we build when we build a budget that reflects the needs and values of our community. We know we couldn't get every question, but the conversation does not end here. Please follow the City of Newport News on social media, where we'll continue addressing your questions throughout the video posts and other updates. You can also explore the recommended budget, access to our digital budget tools, and stay engaged through our website at nnva.gov. A quick shout out to everyone who participated in our interactive polls tonight. Your voice is a part of this process, and we'll be sharing more about the results in our next steps. And as we close, remember, your voice matters, your input shapes our future, and we are listening. Thanks again, be well, and have a great evening.